recount the ordeal that occurred in the early hours of Monday in Maga community, Kebbi State, where the community woke up to a gloomy day following attack and kidnap of students of Government Girls Comprehensive Senior Secondary School. Just when the nation was trying to get a grasp of the sad incident in the northwest, another incident occurred in the north central in the early hours of Friday morning, where students of St. Mary's Papyri Private Catholic Secondary School in Niger State were kidnapped. Already, the federal government has swung into action and has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring safer learning environment for Nigerian students through continued support for the Safe School project. Violent attacks on schools by armed bandits is one burning issue that is posing serious concerns on the increasing potency of threats to education, creating a pattern of fear and anxiety in vulnerable communities. If you recall, Nigeria signed the Safe Schools Declaration on May 29, 2015, an international commitment that expresses support for protecting students, teachers, and their schools during armed conflict. So tonight, on Weekend File, we examine the Safe School project. How has it been strengthened, and how are states implementing the project across the country? Our guest is Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, retired, a member of the Safe Schools Declaration Community of Practice and member Partner Alliance for Safe Schools. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguela. Let's start with the latest development across the country. President Bola Tinubu has called for a global framework that benefits communities hosting critical minerals in Nigeria and Africa, ensuring value addition at the source. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, he made the call at the third session of the 2025 G20 Leaders Summit held at Johannesburg Expo Center in South Africa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrila reports.
The demands are coming just as Nigeria also backed the creation of global ethical standards for artificial intelligence, aimed at accelerating development across the world, highlighting that for Nigeria and Africa, critical minerals are more than natural deposits, as they hold the promise of industrial transformation for the continent. The Nigerian leader stressed that while the possession of resources alone does not guarantee prosperity, relevant authorities must ensure that the extraction and trade of critical minerals are governed by fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Africa cannot realize the positive paradigm shift we seek in its development trajectory without a collective resolve of the G20. Together, we must confront the persistent regional challenges before us, most notably the urgent need for sustainable financing to ensure effective implementation of our developmental priorities.
The Nigerian leader further stated that as the world advances through green and digital transitions, progress must remain people-centered. On artificial intelligence, the president was emphatic on the task before G20 leaders, development partners, and governments to ensure that AI remains a servant of humanity, not a force that reshapes society at the expense of those it ought to uplift, urging G20 leaders and partners to build a future where Africa is not merely a supplier of raw materials, but a continent of value creation, innovation, and dignity in work.
Nigeria has in recent times demonstrated its readiness for both foreign direct and portfolio investments. This progress is driven in part by the fiscal policies introduced by the present administration, all aimed at enhancing the ease of doing business in Nigeria. We are committed to establishing 1,000 active businesses in each ward in Nigeria, with a clear objective of stimulating our local economy through grassroots empowerment, skills acquisition, and job creation.
Nigeria also asked world leaders to come up with a more equitable and responsive system to manage global financial flows and address the recurring debt crisis in a manner that meets the needs of all nations. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris says the high-level federal government delegation to the United States of America led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Rabadu is intensely addressing misleading narratives suggesting religious persecution in Nigeria. In a statement by the Special Assistant Media, Rabiu Ibrahim, the minister explained that the high-powered Nigerian delegation currently in the United States has met with U.S. Secretary of War, members of the U.S. Congress, officials of the State Department, and other American stakeholders, and has availed evidence-based information about Nigeria's security challenges, provided detailed briefings on counter-terrorism operations, interagency security coordination, and efforts to protect all Nigerian citizens, regardless of faith or ethnicity. The minister said the engagement is crucial for correcting misconceptions that have been amplified during recent congressional discussions and advocacy campaigns. The minister added that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu views the situation with utmost seriousness and has not only strengthened Nigeria's internal security architecture, but also expanded international cooperation to support counter-terrorism and intelligence operations. He said the mission of the delegation underscores the determination of the government of President Tinubu to defend Nigeria's reputation and ensure that foreign partners anchor their decisions on verified information, not one-sided narratives. He emphasized that Nigeria's relationship with the United States remains strong, and these engagements demonstrate the openness of the Tinubu administration to dialogue, partnership, and transparency. In other news, the Niger State government has ordered the immediate closure of all public and private basic and secondary schools across the 25 local government areas of the state. Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago issued this order following a stakeholder security briefing in Mina. Hussaina Musa reports.
The recent kidnap of pupils, students and teachers of St. Mary Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, in Agwere local government area has necessitated decisive measure to forestall another incident. While the Niger State government, security operatives and stakeholders are leaving no stone unturned to ensure the safe return of the children and others in captivity, Governor Muhammad Umar Bagu says stringent measures will be taken to protect the lives and livelihoods of the citizens.
These incidents will have been avoided. However, it's not a time for blame game. Our mission today is to see how we can rescue these children and all those that have been kidnapped in that incident. As such, in this decision, the stakeholders today have decided to close all schools in Niger State. Private, primary and secondary schools, missionary schools, Islamic schools.
Similarly, all tertiary institutions situated in Niger North Senatorial District and those located in volatile areas of Niger East Senatorial District are also directed to close with immediate effect. Emena Hussaina Musa, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Education says the message currently circulating on social media platforms alleging that schools nationwide have been directed to close from 24th November 2025 is false, misleading, and did not originate from the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Education, or any recognized security agency. A statement by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Education, Folashade Boriowo, advises the public to disregard the misleading information. The Alumni Association of the National Institute condemns the recent abductions and the persistent acts of insecurity in parts of the country. A statement by the president of the association, Ambassador Emmanuel Obiokafo, notes that these incidents, which continue to inflict fear, pain, and uncertainty on innocent citizens, are unacceptable and must not be allowed to persist. The association sympathizes with families of all victims of kidnapping, violence, and all the security breaches across the country. Let's also inform you that police in Zamfara State have successfully rescued 25 persons abducted by armed bandits from Kuraje community in Bungudu local government area of the state. Now, this is contained in a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of Zamfara State Police Command, DSP Yazid Abubakar. According to the statement, the victims, comprising 10 women and 15 children, were abducted when the bandits and their large number attacked the community on Friday, 24th November 2025. The statement says, upon receiving the distress report, the police patrol team, in collaboration with the operatives of Zamfara State Community Protection Guards, swiftly pursued the fleeing bandits and engaged them in a coordinated and strategic operation that led to the successful and safe rescue of all the victims, all of whom have since been reunited with their families. Officers and men of the Nigerian police force who barred Nest Oil staff and management from accessing their building have finally left, allowing occupants to walk in and take physical control of their assets. Our correspondent, Diana Ajali, who has been monitoring the situation, reports that this is in compliance with a formal letter from the Deputy Chief Registrar, Federal High Court, Ikoyi, dated 20th November 2025, directing the Commissioner of Police to withdraw all officers from the site of Nest Oil building since the previous order has been set aside.
We thank the Commissioner of Police, and we're just excited.
Nest Oil, one of Nigeria's oil and gas services company staff, excited over the reopening of its head office, located on Akin Adeshola, Victoria Island, Lagos, following court order after several weeks of restriction from gaining access to the company's building.
Also, I'm so happy as a lawyer that this is a good day for the rule of law and the judiciary.
On the evening of 20th November 2025, a federal high court in Lagos, presided over by Justice Daniel Osiago, vacated the earlier ex-party order that had let lenders seize Nest Oil's headquarters. The ruling explicitly directed the Lagos State Police Command to pull its officers out of the building. Despite the court's clear instruction, some police units initially refused to leave the premises while using tear gas on staff who tried to enter the building Friday morning. The standoff lasted a few hours, but after pressure on senior police leadership, the officers finally vacated the premises, allowing Nest Oil's management to resume their operations. Nest Oil lawyers, led by Chinu Obiago, SAN, confirmed that the police finally left and the company has reclaimed Nest Oil towers. They noted that the building's electronic access was still compromised as CCTV cameras were defaced, adding that an inventory is underway to assess any further damages. The dispute began with a Mariva injunction issued on the 22nd of October 2025, freezing Nest Oil assets, bank accounts and shares across more than 20 banks. Meanwhile, as operations continue uninterrupted, a motion for joinder is slated for 2015 November and December 12, 2025. In Lagos, Diana Ajali, NTA News.
The 65th Golden Penny Anniversary celebration held in Okene, Kogi State has declared Usman Abdulgafar Osite winner of the Buy and Win promo with the ultimate prize of a brand new car. Regional sales manager of the company says the keys has been presented to the winner. Let's see that.
The event took place at Gegere Plaza, Lafia Street in Okene local government area of Kogi State. It was the week 5 of the Golden Penny's 65th anniversary promo for Nigerians to win prizes ranging from brand new cars, cash prizes and other household appliances to scale up their businesses. In Okene, it was marked by an outpouring joy and excitement for the winner of the ultimate prize, his family and friends.
I appreciate them. May God Almighty continue to grow their company higher and higher.
Regional sales manager of the company, Edobo Emea, says the reason behind the promotional campaign is to reward their customers. He reassures participants that winning is based solely on the outlined procedures without personal connections or bribery.
Our company, what we do is to ensure that we bring products that enrich lives of our consumers and also put money in the pockets of our customers.
Representatives of the Ohineyi of Ibira Land and Chairman National Youth Council of Nigeria, Kogi Central, both expressed their gratitude to the organizers for bringing such a remarkable program to their community.
I must be frank with everybody here today that Ibira people are overwhelmed receiving their son among the 15 people that received this gift.
Just a lucky chap. He just bought the products, check the products and do what they asked him to do in the ticket he found in the program. By the grace of God, today is a winner of a brand new tear-rubber car.
The 65th anniversary celebration of Golden Penny also awarded other winners with cash prizes and other household appliances such as air conditioners, fridges, smart TV, rechargeable fans, and gas cookers, among others. The Golden Penny Buy and Win promo is across the country with over 5,000 Nigerians who have won exciting prizes, including brand new cars. In Okene, John Yaku, NTA News.
A look at health. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, says traditional leaders remain crucial partners in improving healthcare delivery in Nigeria. This was during a courtesy visit to the Obong of Calabar, following the conclusion of the 66th regular session of the National Council on Health in Calabar, Cross River State. The minister noted that the traditional institution's guidance played a significant role in the successful hosting of the council meeting.
Already on the way under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and in collaboration with all our states. And we're reporting that to you as we head back to Abuja to continue to implement, and as other members of the council also go to their respective states and continue to implement the resolutions of the National Council on Health.
The most important thing for any government to do is to make sure that health is okay, education, and a few others. And thank you that our great president approved this particular trip for it to be in Calabar, because you cannot just walk out of Abuja to come in there without his approval. So please, when you are going back, send my message to him. We love him. We want him to continue the way he's doing, carrying everybody along, making sure that the people feel the impact of the administration.
Professor Pate highlighted that the council reviewed progress made over the past 2 years and expressed satisfaction with the clear signs of improvement in key areas such as primary health care, non-communicable diseases, HIV testing, and health governance. President Bola Tinubu congratulates Oba Rufus Adeyemo Adejugbe Aladesomi III, the Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, on his 80th birthday and 35th coronation anniversary. President Tinubu highlights the enduring legacies of integrity, humility, and dignity that had defined the life of Ewi, one of Nigeria's foremost traditional leaders. Equally remarkable is his outstanding leadership and commitment to the cultural heritage, unity, and development of Ado-Ekiti and Ekiti State in general. The president praised God to grant him renewed grace, increased strength, and more years on the throne. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take a look at Upscaling, the Safe School project, and our guest is a private security and defense consultant and former deputy head of Security African Union Commission, Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu. He is also a member of the Safe Schools Declaration Community of Practice and member, Partner Alliance for Safe Schools. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria's Safe School project takes a coordinated, multi-level approach to protecting students. Now, this involves local, state, and national stakeholders. The strategy emphasizes community engagement, legal reforms, and dedicated funding to ensure safe and secure learning environment. Our correspondent, Olayinka Ojo, is set to take us through the journey so far. Yinka.
Kiruth. Nigeria has made significant strides in protecting schools from attacks, but the journey has been challenging. The adoption of 276 schoolgirls in Chibok, Borno State in 2014 by Boko Haram was a turning point, sparking outrage and the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. In 2015, Nigeria endorsed the Safe School Declaration to protect education from attack. Over time, more attacks, kidnappings, and insecurity made it clear that a stronger and more coordinated strategy was needed. According to Save the Children, more than 1,600 school children have been adopted in Nigeria since the Chibok incident from 2014 to 2022. With the Safe Schools Declaration, a technical committee was set up by the Nigerian government in 2018. The belief is to translate commitment into action. In 2021, Nigeria adopted a national policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools, which aligned with the guidelines to protect schools from military use. December of the following year, government launched a national plan on financing safe school targets 2023 to 2026 with a cost investment of 144.8 billion naira. For 2023, the sum of 15 billion naira was budgeted by the federal government to kickstart the project. The plan is to cover 50% of public schools in the medium term 2023 to 2026. As of mid-2024, more than 4,000 schools have registered in the Safe School project via the portal managed by the National Safe School Response Coordination Center. Despite financing plan, funding gaps remain, and according to UNICEF, only few of the schools have met key infrastructural and early warning standards. Some critics say momentum is waning after the initial 2014 to 2015 surge. In all of this, Nigeria has made significant policy commitments that many countries have not. But there are still calls and appeals for more actions to translate these policies into reality.
Thank you, Olayinka. Now, in the face of long-standing insurgency rooted in Boko Haram's ideology that Western education is forbidden, Borno State government is intensifying its Safe School initiative, rolling out infrastructure upgrades and security measures across multiple schools to protect students and teachers in the volatile Northeast region. Pauline Kujavana reports.
Boko Haram's core ideology that Western education is forbidden has led to repeated attacks on schools, including the abduction of students and teachers and the displacement or killing of thousands of educators across Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states.
We have returned schools back to 25 out of the 27 local governments in the state. And wherever we sense any form of danger, instantly we close our schools.
Major fiscal security improvements include presence of security personnel, installation of barbed wires on perimeter fencing, reinforced gates, solar-powered lighting, alarm systems, and watchtowers in high-risk schools.
Those people on plain clothes, as you are disembarking from whatever transport you are using to come into the school, they assess you. And if there's any sign of threat at the first warning, we have a mechanism where we will be alerted.
We, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps partners, the State Ministry of Education and Local Government Affairs in all the 27 local government areas. We work hand in hand together towards ensuring safety in our schools.
We have security officers and what have you, where we can be able to monitor it, both in the morning, in the evening, and for boarding schools, even in the night time. That will help us immensely.
Borno State push on the Safe School initiative represent a critical step towards reclaiming the right to education in an area long burdened by Boko Haram violence ideology. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guests. We have in the studio Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, retired. He's a member of the Safe Schools Declaration Community of Practice and also member Partner Alliance for Safe Schools. Thank you very much for joining us, Group Captain.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being with you.
The pleasure is ours. Let's look at the Safe Schools Declaration, which you are a member. There are recommendations that are supposed to be adhered to. And following the report we saw, UNICEF assessment across 10 states, only 43% of the minimum standards have been met, of the safe school minimum standards have been met. What do you make of all of this following monitoring and evaluation?
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I think the report of UNICEF is very accurate because I have been involved, apart from involvement with the government, I have been involved with projects where we go and actually examine what the states have in place. Unfortunately, since the 2014 Chibok abduction and then the other abductions that we have from the Safe School Initiative to the Safe School Declaration, unfortunately, the issue of safe school has remained just a slogan. With due respect, you see a lot of high-level launches by the Nigerian police, by the Nigerian civil defense, but in most of these states, you find that there's nothing really concrete on the ground. Yes, I was involved, for example, with going to survey schools in Borno, Niger, Zamfara, Bauchi, about 7 states. And to be honest, what the state governments are doing varies from one state to another. In some states, they already have a local committee in charge of safe school that involves not only state agencies but also the communities. Yeah. In some other states, you go and find that there's nothing really on the ground. Now, despite the fact that a lot of money has been spent, again, we have to question even the structure of the safe school in Nigeria. Safe School Declaration is an international, global best practice of how schools can be communicated, how they can be protected. So in most countries, for example, what I find, one incongruity I find is that as it is something related with education, in most countries, this program is under the Ministry of Education, which is very natural. But in Nigeria, you have an unusual practice where the program at the national level is under the Ministry of Finance. I think this is one area that really needs to be streamlined. If you attend Safe School Declaration meeting anywhere in the world, you'll find that the ministries that represent countries is the Ministry of Education, and rightly so. It was actually Ministry of Education that brought the Safe School Declaration during the Buhari administration when it was. So this is one area, because sometimes coordination can be very easy. The fact that the money is in Ministry of Finance, I think the agency or the government agency that is in the right place to look after this Safe School Declaration is Ministry of Education.
Okay.
Yes.
Group Captain, we've had calls, for high level advocacy in the aspect of strengthening coordination and response. And part of it is the drill that students and teachers are being made to go through, to identify imminent threat or dangers, to know what to do. Is that practice still on, going by what you have assessed?
Yes, despite everything, again, from the assessment we did, like I said, I was charged with going around schools in Adamawa, Borno, Zamfara, and Niger State, and Adamawa, about 5 or 7 states. You find again that the seriousness with which states take this thing varies from state to another. The pictures you are seeing on the screen. This is a school in Bauchi State, in near Yankari. There's a local government called Gwar. This is Gwar Junior Secondary School. You'll be impressed to see that due to the action of UN agencies like UNICEF, these school children, what you see is them practicing what they should do in case there's any danger. These actual pictures we took from that place. In other states that I went, you don't find this kind of things. And this is what I mean about global best practices. In other countries, even a kindergarten child is told
if there is any commotion in the school, he's not just helpless waiting for somebody to come and pick him. He knows what to do, either to go and hide, either to, listen for a whistle, when to come out, when to stay behind. So this is a very good practice that I saw in Gwar. That's why I insisted on this being shown during this interview. But what of other states? What do they do? Apart from the launch in federal, most states, they don't do anything on the ground. Like I said, you are supposed to set up, a safe school committee that will involve not only the security agencies, but also governments. Under the Safe School Declaration, at least the least you can do is to make sure that your school has a fence or a wall around it. In many states, you find that schools are just dropped in the middle of nowhere. In part of it also, you have to train the teachers and the students, like you see in this picture. What do they do? You have to have early warning. And this early warning is not something expensive. It could just be, you will tell them, when I blow my whistle 3 times, it means there is shooting. When I blow it 5 times, it means you can come out danger is that's what you see here. And also, not only that, even a gong, you can put a gong under a tree that when somebody, suspects any danger, he can come and hit. So when we say early warning, it is also missing. This physical security is also missing. Training of the staff and the students is also missing. And also involvement of the communities. The communities in most of these areas, they know who is who in that community.
Which is why intelligence gathering, Group Captain, is very important. Because you're just saying what I was going to ask you next. The community people are involved. They know these people because some of these people are actually in those communities. And let's not leave out the place of that intelligence gathering we're talking about. What is supposed to be done in terms of strengthening this coordination? Even vigilantes, they play a critical role in all of these. How can they be supported, and what kind of confidence, our community is going to be given so that they build that resilience to work with security agencies?
The encouragement we are going to give them, you are really right. The schools are inside communities. So communities, they know who is a member of the community or not. Experience has shown that there is no bandit or kidnapper that goes on the first day and attacks a school. There has to be some level of reconnaissance. Some strange people must come looking at that area to see how is the school. And that is why sometimes even some small action can discourage somebody from attacking for a school. Yeah. For example, somebody doing reconnaissance, if he sees that the school has a very proper gate procedures, maybe if you come, you will be stopped, the guard or the security man will check you, that will show him that at least there will be some level of resistance if he's going to enter that school. But if he passes and see the school does not have a fence, and he sees one sleepy old Baba, 80 years, like calling Baba Megad, that's what we normally put in the school. It's not Baba Megad that he needs to see somebody who really knows, who, as he's looking at the person is also eyeballing him. That tells him that there's danger in going there. The communities, when you bring them, you also train them. What do they do? How do they look out? And when they hear, who do they report to? If possible, help them with some communication gadgets. So this is why I call for, instead of doing launches in Abuja, take this thing to the schools. Again, I know resources are never unlimited. Whether you talk of the armed men, whether I talk of the, but for now, we know areas that are highly challenged by security. The civil defense, to be fair to them, in 2021, they did a survey of all the schools in Nigeria, and they categorize them by level of danger. Now, even if the resources cannot go, you prioritization. You identify those schools, like the school in Kebbi State, for example. This is a school that is lying between the border of Zamfara and Niger State. These are areas that we know there's bandit area. So that area, that school, for example, should receive special attention. So when you say school, police have special school protection squad, CSDC have special squad. Where were they when this thing happened?
Okay.
The money should move down to these schools that are, especially girls' school, because again we can see the trend. Girls' school are extra vulnerable. These people, they like carrying girls for sentimental value, sometimes even turning them to forced into their wives. So these schools should receive extra this thing, and the resources should move from launches in Abuja to actual schools by training the people, training the communities, putting minimum, infrastructure like walls or security fences.
Group Captain, I'd like to come in there because we have to take a break. We'll pick up with a conversation. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Key players in the education sector, while speaking on the content and reasons behind the Safe School project, describe it as a necessary step in the right direction. But let's hear from Bolaji Akim.
Recently, the country has witnessed disturbing incidences of learning being disrupted as a result of terrorist attacks, with the latest being the kidnap of 25 students in Kebbi State. Stakeholders are of the opinion that the cosmopolitan nature and strong collaboration between various security outfits in the state has helped in the enforcement of safe school initiative.
People in uniform scattered around the community, trekking on motorcycle, on bicycle, monitoring happening within the environment, and immediately they sense any threat to human life or properties, they signal the appropriate authority for necessary action.
Parents are also not left out in the security and safety of the school environment, with the establishment of Functional Parents Teachers Association and other approved associations by the government to ensure the security of both teachers and students within and outside the school environment.
That in all schools of the community, we have what is called SBMC, Parent Forum and Mothers Association. These three associations, they work hand in hand to secure our schools.
In the communities, the CDAs, they all come together in collaboration with the state government to ensure that they have vigilantes. They put all this together to ensure that the security in the state is strong.
Adequate enlightenment, sensitization of teachers and students on the next line of action when the need arises, and enforcement of the Safe School Initiative, according to key players, will bring about the needed sanity in the nation education sector. In Lagos, Polaji Akim, NTA News.
All right, Group Captain, I'd like to take you back to what you mentioned, something very crucial. You were talking about the school in Kebbi State that students were abducted, that, you know, it's a border between Niger, if I get you correctly?
Niger, yes.
Okay. With the aspect of identity management, how safe are our borders? Which, of course, we know that most of it is porous.
Yes, no, what I mean for that particular school, it was Niger State and Zamfara State, which, as you know, they are states that already have a challenge security. So what I am saying, a school like that, since it is there and you have not lifted the school, you should know that that school needs extra attention. Get the point? That is the point I am doing. So, and one other thing we are seeing, you see this safe school declaration, there are many actors inside there. There are things that you have to do, even where you place the school. If you are building a new school, of course, you should not go and place it in an area whether it is going to be at risk. If it is an old existing school, the least you can do is to put perimeter fence, put a perimeter wall, have a very well-manned gate. At least let it be known that even if somebody is going, he's going through. When you leave the school without a gate, people can enter. And there is tendency, we see gates or perimeter fence as something of a luxury or a waste of money, but it is not. Training the security people how to, you know, understand somebody is doing surveillance in the school. There's where somebody will pass from a school, you know that he's doing surveillance. You train the people, and you get guards that are young, able-bodied men, not a retired 80 years retired soldier or 80 years retired this Baba Megad. It will not do. Then you also train the school community, both the teachers and the children. What do we do? They should not be helpless. In case, despite everything, something happens, what are they going to do? How are they going to contact the nearest police station or military? All these are issues that can be done. Yes, from the earlier report you put, like I said, when you see good practice, you will also, you know, acknowledge it. It's true, a state like Borno.
I was going to mention Borno, because Borno we're seeing the result and what the effort of the state government.
I have seen it physically during my visit.
Yes.
But
the question is, Group Captain, just a moment. The question is state's commitment. If the federal is doing its part, then at the sub-national, there should be commitment.
Very true. Okay. Federal government is doing its part, that it should be taken over also by the states. And also international agencies like UNICEF, like Save the Children, they are actually doing very good work. But like I said, what they normally do, they will take 2 or 3 or 5 schools in the state, and then they will set up models of how the school will be. It is expected that state governments should continue with those models. But in most of the states, you find that what these agencies do, that is where it is left. I have seen this physically on the ground. So, like I said, it should move to a more, not just a slogan. Whenever there's this attack, that's when we talk about safe school. But after that, everybody goes back into his shell. We continue building schools without perimeter fences. We leave the children. There is no any communication. You know, so most of it's very painful that when you see the work that has been done by some of the UN agencies, but it has not been taken over by the police. Like for example, this that happened in Niger State. You know, the UNICEF, they developed what they call early warning system in about 7 states. First, they identified what are the major threats in those states. At what time of the year do those threats occur? I can tell you from that document, you will know that in a state like Niger State, once the rainy seasons are over and the overflying rivers, they are a low volume. That is when bandits start attacking. It has been documented in that. So it is not surprising when you look at and what do you do? How do you contact? Again, in Niger State, I saw a few schools. Like I said, what the international community does, they settle like 3 schools or 5 schools in the state. It is all the state government. When I visited Niger State, there are schools that have direct link from where they are to the state commissioner of police. The number 2 man in every state is the one in charge of safe schools. They have. But when we ask, even after that time, I think it's about 12 or 20 schools that have it out of the many. What is expected is that the state government should build upon that. But the honest truth is that I think we are still paying lip service to this safe school, and then the blame can go to so many people, really.
All right, Group Captain, on a final note, security agencies, of course, have they do their own part. But of course, when communities don't work together in synergy, it becomes a problem and there will be gaps. What's your message, to communities?
Communities, like in the last report in Lagos State, even though I think Lagos State, their situation is even a bit different when you talk about Zamfara, Kebbi, and this side, but all the same, SBMCs, that is school-based management committees, is part of the Safe School Declaration. That means every state, it will have parents, teachers, all students. In Al-Kaleri local government, for example, in one school I visited in Bauchi State, I saw even the old students of that school, some married women, some married men that are locals there. They are part of the school-based management committee. They are supposed to come and be involved. They are the ones who will know if a stranger, more than where we have urban life. In rural life, the people know themselves. Once there is a stranger coming around or asking about school, he can easily be picked up. So these are the kind of trainings that we should concentrate on. Training these people, training the children, again, like you saw in the picture, let the children also know what to do. Yeah. In that picture that you saw in Al-Kaleri local government, in this Gwer Junior Secondary School, the children are told when there is danger, they come out one holding another and go and hide. That holding one another has its use, which we see. If you observe, every time we have a school attack, sometimes it takes 4 to 3 days before we even know the actual number of people that were taken, which is very dangerous. When they are holding, as you saw them in that picture, holding the picture, I know the person, look at them, I know the picture in my front, I know the person in my back. So after everything is settled, I know it is Audu that was in my front, I know it was Janet that was in my back, so you can easily account. As you can see, even in this latest one, in this, up to now, the numbers are vacillating. We started with 200, now we're moving 300. At least even if a danger happens like that, within 1 hour or 2 hours, we should be able to know how many children are we looking for. This has become a very big challenge. I remember the Ankara incident. The Commissioner of Education is giving a different number. The principal is giving a different number. So what does that mean? Even if we are able to secure these children, how can we be sure some are not remaining in the bush when we don't have the number? All these are processes that can be done. And one final thing I must say, every school is supposed to have a safety and security plan. Safety and security. As parents, as myself, when you go to pay your school fees, it's good for you to ask, what's the safety and security plan for this school? Parents pay a lot of money, but they don't ask what is happening to the security of their children, their most prized possession. So everybody has a role to play, government, communities, the students themselves, and everybody else.
All right. It's a collective responsibility for us in NTA. We'll continue to play our part in the aspect of advocacy. Thank you very much, Group Captain Sadiq Garbashi, who retired. Thank you for coming on Weekend File.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. We'll be back. Thanks for staying. 3 lives were lost, with property estimated at over 30 million naira destroyed in a gas plant explosion in Idiroko, Ona-Ara local government area of Oyo State. Kendi Omolosho reports.
The explosion was said to have occurred while a gas tanker loaded with 15 tons of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, was transferring its contents to the gas plant. The explosion, which was without fire outbreak, however damaged buildings in the community, with human parts scattered around. It was, however, surprising that the gas tanker was not affected by the explosion.
When they are able to fill the gas finish, the cylinder is hot, and he told them that this thing is hot now. This thing is not supposed to hot. It's supposed to be cold. So when he told them that, let me pour water on the cylinder, he turned back to carry water and poured it. Suddenly everywhere just exploded.
We came out to see the extent of the damage. On getting here, we found out that the boy in question that owned the station of that gas, he has died. And at the entrance of my street there, we found a leg. 2 other persons was broken into pieces.
Adeyinka Amos and Rotimi Fasenya's houses were affected by the explosion. They are, however, thankful for being alive.
When they first brought the gas, I kicked against it. And people in the environment, the co-landlord, they also joined me to kick against it. Planting a gas in this kind of environment is very, very dangerous to our heads, even to this community.
The appeal is for relevant agencies to monitor the siting and operation of gas plants to prevent future occurrence. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Now, before we go, let's whet your appetite a bit. Tomorrow is National Cashew Nut Day, observed November 23rd to raise awareness of the nutritional value of cashew, which are rich in vitamins and minerals, and to also encourage people to incorporate them into their diets. It is also a moment to honor the hard work of the farmer in growing and harvesting cashew. This is particularly relevant given the economic importance of the cashew industry for many smallholder farmers. Cashew nut, a significant commodity in international trade, with countries like Ivory Coast and Nigeria being major exporters, the day can be seen as a way to celebrate the economic contribution of this industry. So as you go out, get a pack of cashew nut tomorrow, and yes, you're welcome. And that concludes Weekend Fowl. I'm Ruth Aguele. Good night.